Here, the user can able to define their own functions, whichever way the user want. On that way, the user can define. That's why it is called as user-defined function. String upper, the name itself suggesting that it will convert the given string to uppercase. That is in capital letter, it will convert. It will convert the given character to uppercase. But when you come on is upper, there what happens? It will check whether it is in uppercase or not, whereas to upper will convert the given character to uppercase. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we are going to start with the first session of Functions chapter. Whereas in the annual exam, from this chapter, you will get only one question, that for 2 marks. In part B, only one question you will get. Whereas on today's class, you will come to know regarding introduction to function. What do you mean by function? For which purpose we need functions? Then types of functions. Under that, library functions, user-defined function, and different header files. For which purpose, which are the header files we are using. Then character functions. Regarding that, you will come to know on today's session. First, we'll discuss about what do you mean by function? What exactly the function will perform? Whereas function contains set of statements, and here these statements will perform some specific task. After performing the task, it will generate the result to the main program. For example, consider this is the main program and one more subprogram we are taking. This subprogram can we call it as functions because it contains set of statements. After calculation, it will generate the result to the main program. Here, a function is a named group of statements. For the subfunction, we have some particular name. And this contains set of statements developed to solve a subproblem and returns value to other function when it is called. When we call the subprogram, on that time, it returns the value to the main function. That is about function. Whereas when the command function means, it is a named group of set of statements. It will perform the task whenever we are going to call. On that time, it will generate the result to the main program. Now, when we come on types of functions, under that, there are 2 types. One is library function and one more is user-defined functions. There are 2 types. One is library function and one more is user-defined function. But when we come on library function, here it contains set of subprograms and it will perform the task. For that, we need some header file. On that header file, it contains all the functionalities. Whereas user-defined function means here user can define their own functions here. Now, one by one we'll discuss. First, we'll discuss about library functions. What do you mean by this library function? A standard library is a collection of predefined functions, already defined subfunctions, subprograms here we have, and other programming elements which are accessed through header files. With the help of header files, that functions we can able to access here. For example, I want to perform is alpha, is digit, is upper like that. On that time, if I'm going to use the header file, then it will support that. It means that here in library function, it is already defined. It's a predefined program it contains. Header files are the files containing standard functions that our programs may use it. On this case, it contains set of functions and we are using that. The header files should be written angled brackets and its functions are included into our programs by #include directives. For example, I want to perform scene as well as cout function. Then #include iostream dot h header file we are using. For example, I want to perform mathematical function. Then #include math.h. For example, I want to perform character manipulation function. Then hash include C type dot h header file. Like that, we can able to declare the header files here. To represent that, first you have to mention hash include, then directives you have to mention. When you come on user defined functions, there already I told you it is created by the user. We can create our own function. The user can create their own functions or sub-programs to solve our problem. Such functions are normally referred to as user-defined functions. It means that here the user can able to define their own functions, whichever way the user want. On that way, the user can define. That's why it is called as user-defined function. A user-defined function is a complete and independent program which can be used by the main program or by the other sub-program also. By invoking, we can able to call that functions. We can able to use that functions here. The user-defined functions are written to perform definite calculation. After performing their task, they send back the result to the calling program and sub-program. It means that here user-defined functions is mainly used to perform some particular task. After performing the task, it will generate result to the functions here. And which are some of the header files now we'll explain. Under that, first one, iostream.h. When you come on different types of header files, under that the first one is iostream.h, that is input output stream. What is the main use of this function? Whereas here it helps to perform cin function, that is input operation, as well as cout function, that is output operation we can able to perform. Then what do you mean by input? Input operation is nothing but it is a process of transferring the data from the user to the computer for processing purpose with the help of input device. Whereas output operation is nothing but transferring information from the computer to the user with the help of output devices like monitor. Whereas here, this header file contains C++ strings and input-output routines and are listed below here. For example, some of the functions which come under iostream that we are going to list now, that is open function, close, get line, read, write, put, seek G, seek P, tell G, tell P, EOF, that is end of file, etc. These are the supporting files we required here. It means that if I want to use all this function, then compulsory we need this iostream.h header file. Whereas open function helps to open the file, whereas close function helps to close the file after processing, get function, get line function, whereas get function input a single character, whereas getLine function helps to input entire line of text. Read as well as write function helps to read the data, especially in binary format. It means that these are the some of the functions iostream.h header file especially supports here. Next, we'll move on stdio.h. This is one of the header file here we are using. What is the main use of this? Whereas this header file contains the functions and macros to perform standard input-output operations only. Here also, this also used to perform input-output operation. But whereas cout there, we have to use the header file iostream.h. Whereas in the program, if you are using print as well as scan function, then we need this header file stdio.h. Whereas when we include the header file iostream.h, the header file stdio.h is automatically included into our program here. The standard input-output functions of the header file stdio.h are listed below, like f open function, f close, printf, scanf, f printf, f scanf, f read, f write, etc. These are the files, functions It supports this stdio.h header file. That means you come to know regarding iostream.h as well as stdio.h. Next, we will move on string functions. That is, especially string.h header file. What do you mean by this? First of all, what do you mean by string? Where a string is a collection of characters. For example, if I have character, I am going to take n as a character. It is opened as well as closed by single quotes. Open as well as closed by single quotes. For example, NAME. Here name, it is a collection of character. It is open as well as closed by double quotes. This can be called it as string. Whereas this one can be called as character. Now, what exactly this characters function will perform? Only character manipulation. Whereas string function helps to manipulate the given string. If I am using string functions, then must and should we have to include the header file string.h header file. This header file declares the functions to manipulate the string and memory manipulations routines here we can able to perform. Now I am to list some of the string functions. The first one is string length function. What exactly the string length function will perform? It will calculate, it will count how many characters are there in the given string. For example, here I am going to write string length. Here I am going to write Mysore. Then what exactly it will perform? It will count how many characters are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it will display totally 6 characters are. It gives the number of characters including space present in the given strings here. And the next one, string cat. What exactly the string cat? The string cat helps to combine 2 strings. For example, one string we have Anu. And one more string we have Shri. Then what it will do? It will combine. The final result we can get Anushri. It means that string cat function helps to combine or concatenate the given strings here. Then string copy. Whereas when the come on string copy function, it will copy the one string to another string. S1 is copied to S2. Here string length, it will count how many characters? String cat combine both the strings, whereas string copy, it will copy from one string to another string. And the next one, string compare I. Whereas string compare I is also there, string compare is also there. When they come on string compare S1 comma S2, if it is equals to 0, it compares S1 and S2 and find out whether the S1 is equals to S2, greater than S2 or S1 is less than S2. It just calculate whether it is equals to 0, it is greater than 0 or less than 0. It will compare, especially it will compare the given string. And the next one is string compare I function. Whereas here it compare S1 and S2 ignoring case sensitive, especially it will ignore the case. You can write in capital letter or it may be in small letter. And find out whether S1 is equals to S2, greater than S2 or S1 is less than S2, like that it will calculate. It means that here it will not going to consider the case thing, especially which may be uppercase or it may be lowercase. Whereas here, it will compare if both the string are in a different case. One is in capital letter, one is small letter, then it will not consider as a same string. Whereas here, it does not consider whether on which case it is, where it may be equals to, greater than or less than. And the next string function is string reverse. In this string reverse function, it just reverses the given string. Whatever string we are going to write. For example, here I am to write Mysore. Then under string reverse function, it will display it will display ROSYM. Like this, it will display the given character in reverse format. And the next one, string upper. String upper, the name itself suggesting that it will convert the given string to uppercase, that is in capital letter, it will convert. And the next one is string lower. Whereas this string lower function helps to convert the given string to lower case, that is in small letter. Whatever thing here we are given, that will converting into uppercase, whereas here whatever string we are given, that will converting into lowercase. These are the few string manipulation function. For this, the supporting header file is string.h. If you are using any of this function, then compulsory we need this string.h header file. Otherwise, you will get the error prototype missing. Prototype missing is nothing but some of the header files are missed here. Next, we'll move on the next one, that is STDLIB, Standard Library Functions. Standard Library Function. What is the use of this STDLIB? That is, this header file is used to declare conversion routines, search or sort routines, and other miscellaneous things. The functions are listed below here, like ATIO, ATOL, ATOF, free, malloc, like this. We have some of the functions we can able to use here. And the next header file is iomanip.h, whereas STDLIB, standard library function. In the program, if you use it exit also, then also we need this standard library function. Whereas iomanip.h, this is a supporting header file to manipulate your result. For example, set W, set precision. For that, we need this iomanip, that is the name itself representing manipulation purpose. When you want to manipulate the result, then we require this iomanip.h header file. This header file contains functions and macros for input-output manipulators for creating parameterized manipulations. The functions are listed below here: endline, set W, set file, set precision, octal, etc. These are the some of the functions come under this iomanip.h. Then on today's class, you have studied regarding IO string, STDLIB, iomanip, then standard input-output functions. Then the next one we'll discuss about math.h header file. In the program, if you're using mathematical functions, any mathematical function, then compulsory we need this math.h header file. This header file includes prototypes for the mathematical functions. Especially for mathematical functions, we need this header file, and error handlers. The functions that are used to perform mathematical calculation and conversions. Here, we have just listed some of the mathematical functions. Under that, first one, square root function to find the square root of the given number. For that also, we need math.h header file, power function, sine function, cos function, tan function, assign function, a cos function, exponential, log function, log 10, absolute, fabs. For this function, compulsory, we need this math.h header file. Whereas here it will find the square root, whereas here if I want to find a to the power of 3, then in the system directly I cannot able to write, then I can use power function, power 2, 3 if I am going to write, then it will find the power of the given number. Then sine value, cos value, whatever value here inside this x we are written, that for that it will find sine value, cos value, tan value, assign value, everything we can able to get here. If I want to use this function, then compulsory we need the header file math.h. Next we'll move on character functions. Whereas when you come on character function, for that compulsory we need the header file ctype.h. This is a header file we required when performing character manipulations. Under that, a character is any single character enclosed within a single quotes. Already I told you, N is a character, it is opened as well as closed by single quotes. If I am going to write N-A-M-E, name, then it can be called as string. Whereas here, within the single quotes only, we have to represent only one character it contains. Some function accept character as arguments also. It may be values also. The arguments is processed as an int by using its ASCII code. We can declare that in ASCII format, that is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. To use this function, the header file ctype.h should be included. Already I told you, ctype.h header file must and should be required here. Any character enclosed within a single quotes is called as single character constant, or simply a character constant also we can see here. And here I listed some of the character manipulation functions. The first one is alpha. It just check whether the given character is alphabet or not. Here, for example, here on the place of C, if I am going to write A or B, C, D or any number is alpha. Here I am to write, for example, M, capital M. Then what it will perform, it checks whether this given character is alphabet or not. That is nothing but is alpha function. And the next one is a digit. Whereas here I am going to write is digit 1. Then what it will check? It will check whether the given character is digit or not. If it is digit, it will display it as 1. Otherwise, it will display it as false here. Then is alpha number. Whereas here it will check whether the given character is alphabet or number. Both it will check. If it is alphabet or number, then it will display it as true. Otherwise, it will display it as false. Next, is lower. There also it just check whether it's in lower case or not. For example, is lower we have. Is lower inside the bracket I am to write capital M. Then what it will display whether it's a true or false. Is it a lower case? No, because here we are written in capital letter. That's why here we want to get the result as false. It means that is alpha function helps to check whether it's the alphabet or not. Whereas is lower function helps to check whether the given character is in lower case or not. If it is lower case, that will return true. Otherwise, it will return false here. In the same way, is upper. This function mainly helps to check the given character, is it in upper case or not. Is upper. If it is in upper case, then it will display it as true. Otherwise, it will display it as false. And to lower, there is a difference between is upper as well as to lower. Whereas here to upper means it will convert. It will convert the given character to uppercase. But when you come on is upper, there what happens? It will check whether it is in uppercase or not. Whereas to upper will convert the given character to uppercase. To lower. Whereas here it just convert the given character to lowercase. These are the some of the character manipulation function. If I am going to use this function in the program, then compulsory we need ctype.h header file. Then only this function we can able to use. Next we will move on to inputting a single character. How to input a single character in the program? By using get function, we can able to input a single character. We can input a character using the function get. By using get function, we can able to input only one character. That means we can able to read a single character here. The general form is char. First you have to declare char ch is a character data type. There you have to write cin equals get ch. This ch is a character. By this we can able to input a single character, or we can input cin dot get line ch. By this way also we can able to input. Otherwise ch equals cin dot get line. By that also we can able to input a single character. When you come on, if you want to print a single character, that is outputting a single character, can be performed by using the function put function. Whereas if you want to input a single character, then get function. If you want to print a single character, then compulsory put function will be required. Whereas put function is used to display a single character here. Whereas the general syntax to perform outputting a single character, cout dot put ch. For example, here we are declare the variable ch, that variable of type character, then ch equals cin dot get. It means that here I can able to input a single character. whereas ch contains the character which we are inputted. Whereas cout.put ch, then whatever character here we are input, that will print here. For example, for ch, I am going to give m, then whereas here, it just print m here. That means, by using put function, we can able to print a single character here. It means that in today's class, you have studied regarding what do you mean by header files, why we require these header files, how to use these header files, which are the functions it will include. Then in the next class, we are going to explain the remaining concept of the same chapter. Thank you for all of you.